Good morning. Wow. Did I pick a bad week to take vacation, right? I did have a great week off, and I'm going to tell you all about that later on in the week. But it has been a really good day. Some of you have seen my pictures on my timeline on Facebook, and I'm not taking too many pictures this year because I actually feel I'm going to enjoy the beauty through my own eyes instead of having to snap a picture every 10 minutes. But the important stuff I will photograph and share with all of you. You may notice my voice is a little weird today. Well, yeah, political Paula caught a cold. Every 3 to 5 years, I get a cold, and sadly, since I've had this beautiful place down here at the Bay, I usually get it here, where it is like impossible to get cold medicine without driving 30 or 40 minutes. So basically, I'm popping Benadryl and Cynomist, and my husband dug up a few old Tylenol, Alka-Seltzer, fizz things, so I'm trying to take care of it, but hopefully I'll be on the mend and be much better later on in the week. So if I sound weird, yes, I have my every 5-year cold, but I'm very blessed to not be sick very often, which is why when I do get sick, I'm a little bit of a baby. So I'm not a happy camper right now, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not that bad. So let's talk about what happened last week. My God in heaven, what, I mean, really. And look, I'm going to be taking you back through history today. Today we're going to talk about the past because it's important to understand the ramifications of what is going on in the Trump administration right now, with the special prosecutor being sworn in and investigating. It's dangerous. It's dangerous for every American. And I'm not talking to Trump supporters, and I'm not talking to Hillary supporters. I'm talking to American citizens. All of you. Because right now, it is our country as a whole and Americans all over the world traveling, working. We have targets on our back because of what is going on in the administration. I'm going to prove it to you by taking you back to 1996. It's actually not that much history. And it's so ironic that the story I'm going to take you back to is actually involves the Clintons, Bill and Hillary Clinton. Now, last week when the special prosecutor was sworn in, nominated, put to work, Donald Trump, of course, had a tweet that this is a witch hunt. Well, see, there was also a witch hunt in 1996. But the problem with Donald Trump, many of his problems he brings on himself. And when he tweets, he tends to dig himself a deeper hole. And this is kind of sort of what happened with the Clintons. So we're going to have to do some history, which is now repeating itself. So Donald Trump calls this a witch hunt. During the campaign, Donald Trump warned everybody in America not to vote for Hillary Clinton because she was a crooked Hillary. Lock her up. She broke the law. She should be prosecuted because, oops, she used the wrong email address to send documents that weren't classified when she sent them, and were classified months and years later. And many politicians in Washington also use private servers to send emails. So Hillary, in that sense, we were all warned. And when James Comey, God bless him, came out 12 days before the election and said there was something new with the Hillary thing, a lot of Hillary supporters voted for Trump. And James Comey felt bad about that. And now, next week, James Comey is going to be testifying as a private citizen in front of Congress. Because, see, Donald Trump was kind of threatening that he had taped James Comey in the Oval Office, which apparently he did not. But James Comey took notes. After every meeting with the president, he wrote things down. They're dated, and they're in a safe location. And those memos will show exactly what Donald Trump asked Director Comey to do, which was basically violate his oath. Make the Russia investigation go away. Leave Mikey Flynn alone. Mikey Flynn, by the way, right now, is under subpoena to testify before Congress, and guess what he's doing? He's in contempt of court. He is refusing to honor the subpoena unless he gets full immunity. Now, I watch enough Law and Order to know if you're asking for full immunity for something, you've done something wrong. So you're not going to go under oath and incriminate yourself. So, now, let's go back to 1996, because this is what I want to talk to you all about, is the ramifications of having this special prosecutor, especially in such a young administration. We're in like day, 120-something, 130-something, basically 4 months in, 5 months in. This is scary, because here is what's happening all over the world. Our enemies are seeing us as vulnerable, and our allies are seeing us as incompetent. Those are two scary dots to connect, because when they connect, they explode, and they turn into the World Trade Center on September 11th, 2001. And we know this because of something so sporadic that I heard over the weekend. We all know that in 1996, the Clintons, who, by the way, Trump might forget this, because back then he was probably supporting them. The Clintons were the most investigated couple in Washington history. The most investigated president and first lady in the history of our country. And they appointed Ken Starr to be the special prosecutor. And Ken Starr started out, this is what's fun about a special prosecutor you might not know. See, they basically have carte blanche. So they're not, former Director Mueller is not just investigating Donald Trump and Russia. He's investigating anything and everything and talking to everybody and anyone. They're all getting lawyers now and paying for them themselves, by the way. And things start to turn up that maybe you weren't investigating in the first place, but oh my God, I stumbled upon this. So, do y'all remember Ken Starr? It started out as a thing called Whitewater, which was a condo development in Arkansas, of all places, where the Clintons are from. And then it turned into Ken Starr was investigating a murder. Actually, the Clintons were actually suspected of murdering their friend and colleague, Vince Foster, who, for all due purposes, died of natural causes, but he was their partner in the Whitewater thing. So Ken Starr, in 1996, started out investigating a murder, thinking that Bill and Hill called a hitman in Arkansas and had him murder Vince Foster, which was beyond ridiculous, but that's how it started. Guess what it turned into? It turned into Monica Lewinsky. Yeah. It turned into Ken Starr was investigating a murder and fraud in a real estate deal, and all he ended up with was that Bill Clinton is a bad husband and cheated on his wife and got a blowjob in the Oval Office. Oh, Madon, get rid of him. He's a great president, but he got a blowjob from an intern. And what happened with the Ken Starr investigation, of course, was the Republicans that wanted Bill Clinton impeached started getting uncomfortable when it turned into an extramarital affair investigation. Because, as we learn, Newt Gingrich had to resign because he also cheated on his wife. And all these other congressmen and senators are like, oh, shit. If we impeach Bill for fucking Monica Lewinsky, I'm sorry, he did not have sexual relations with her. He only let her suck his dick. Okay. So, yeah. And please, any of you who feel sorry for Monica Lewinsky, like people said, oh, don't let your kids work in the White House if Hillary wins because Bill will be there. Monica Lewinsky was such a little virgin victim, she actually saved the dress that had Bill Clinton's semen stain on it. That is not a naive little ingenue who doesn't know what's going on. Trust me. Trust me. She was no virgin on her Oval Office night. No. So that's what Ken Starr uncovered. And of course, Bill Clinton was not impeached because you don't impeach presidents for cheating on their wives, President Kennedy. You don't impeach anyone for cheating on their wives. All the congressmen and senators who are out there having a good time. Remember the one guy that actually paid with taxpayer money to go to some resort with his girlfriend? Yeah, we don't impeach people for that in this country. Yeah, you're a bad husband. But if you're doing your job, it's okay. You can cheat on your wife. It's your wife's problem. Hillary chose to stay. That was her deal. But I learned something this weekend watching CNN, and there's a book out about it. In 1996, when all of America was watching every single day the Ken Starr investigation, the rest of the world wasn't. And there was a small little dude named Osama bin Laden who was actually watching the Ken Starr investigation and thinking, ooh, the Americans are busy. Let me get started. Now, I was stupid in 2001. I thought the only reason we got attacked was because a Bush was in the White House, George W. Bush. I thought it was payback for H.W. doing the first Gulf War. I was wrong. Every person who knows says that the 9/11 attacks took 4 to 5 years to plan and train for. So 2001 minus 5, that's easy math. That goes to 1996 is when Osama bin Laden started planning 9/11. And remember what happened. All of the 15 terrorists from 9/11 came into this country legally with student visas. They were welcomed in. Welcome to America. And when they came here, the only thing they wanted to study was how to fly an airplane. Not to take off and not to land. And they got to do that right here in Florida, in America. They took flying lessons. And they said, well, we don't need to land and we don't need to take off. All these little red flags were popping up, but all of America was busy watching the Lewinsky scandal, seeing if Bill Clinton would be impeached for cheating on his wife. And I learned something else there's something that happened in 1996, and I'd like you to tell me in comments if any of you know about this. It's the first I heard of it. There was an assassination attempt against Bill Clinton in 1996 in the Philippines. He was on a trip. And there was a bridge, and his entourage was scheduled to drive over this bridge. And luckily, the Secret Service got a tip that there was a bomb on the bridge. And they found a bomb. They rerouted the entourage that had Bill Clinton in it and everyone who was traveling with him. If that bomb had gone off, it would have killed everybody. Bill Clinton would have been assassinated. And the person responsible for getting that bomb under that bridge in 1996 was Osama bin Laden. Because we were busy. Our Justice Department was busy prosecuting Bill Clinton for getting a blowjob in the Oval Office. And Osama bin Laden took that as a go green. Green, green, green. Now I have time because the American people and the government is too busy prosecuting Bill Clinton for cheating on his wife. And that's how 9/11 happened. That's how it happened. I'm just looking at my notes because, again, I've been on vacation. I got to get back into the swing of things, and I am not feeling very well. Okay, well, now, I basically got through most of what the show is about today. It was about history, and history repeating itself. Now let me tell you how this all is becoming very familiar. From 96 to 2017, 11 years later. First of all, we are no longer talking on the news. I have not heard one thing on the news last week about healthcare, about lowering taxes, about the famous wall that Mexico is going to pay for. I have heard not one thing about any agenda from the Trump campaign that makes America great again. Because all we're talking about is Russia, Mike Flynn, Rosenstein, Comey, and Donald Trump's tweets saying they're after me. It's a witch hunt. Not one word. Not one word. And that should scare all of you especially who voted for Trump because you wanted things done. They're not getting done. And I will say, for those of you who were so afraid that Hillary Clinton, if elected, was going to be spending all her time defending herself at Congress, what did you get when you voted for Trump? This is what you got. And for everybody who told me the emails, Hillary's emails, were important, but now you're saying that the Russians having a say in our democratic elections isn't important? I'm sorry, guys, I think that's disingenuous. I think it's hypocritical. No outside country should ever interfere with an American election. So this investigation is not about did Trump cheat on his wife, because we know he probably has, because he always has in the past. And you don't teach an old dog new tricks. He's probably still marking his territory in the White House. We don't know. And I don't care. I don't care who the president fucks. I just know he ain't fucking Melania, because she's in New York, he's in Washington. But what we're not doing right now is the Department of Justice is busy looking into this Russia thing with our election. And where they're not looking is what is ISIS doing right now? What are they planning? While we are all watching to see if Trump gets indicted for colluding with the Russians. And if we end up by September, as I think we may with a President Pence, they're watching. And they're not watching to see if Trump gets indicted. They don't care. They're just watching to see if the American people and the American Congress and the American Department of Justice are so busy looking left and they forget to look right. And you know when you cross a street and you don't look both ways, guess what happens? You're roadkill. We're not looking both ways, my friends. We have tunnel vision. And right now, all the Democrats want to do is get rid of Trump. And all Trump wants to do is throw his staff members and everybody else under the bus, and he reigns supreme. He's already said it. No one's investigating me. They're investigating my campaign. He's already let everybody know that he's going to throw them under the bus, and he will stay standing. He'll be the last man standing. He said it. He told Lester Holt, I am not under investigation. My campaign might be, but I have nothing to do with that. He said it right there. That's a quote. Which means Spicy and Huckabee Sanders and Jared, his own son-in-law, and, oh, what's his name? Oh, our good old friend little Stevie Bannon. They better start getting really good lawyers. And by the way, even President Clinton had to pay for his own legal defense. They have to pay for that on their own with their White House salary. One of the Clinton staffers ended up coming out of the Clinton White House with tens of thousands of dollars in legal expenses because President Clinton got a blowjob in the Oval Office. That's all that was there, which is why he was not impeached and will go down as a very good president, by the way. Just a really shitty husband, which obviously doesn't bother Hillary in the least because she's still there with him. And I always say this, if it doesn't bother the wife, it shouldn't bother me. Why did it bother us? Why did we spend all that money for Ken Starr to go in there and basically put people on trial who had sex with the president consensually? And don't all start, put your thumbs away. Don't all start with, oh, he raped them. He didn't rape nobody. Monica Lewinsky was a very willing participant, believe me. And back in 1996, if Bill Clinton had wanted to fuck me, I would have been like, yes, sir, Mr. President. I'm all there. I'm in. And I would have never told anyone about it either and got him in trouble. He was hot. He's a good-looking dude. I would have fucked him. So again, this is what happened. And because of this investigation, in my opinion now, learning what I just learned last week, Bill Clinton and his blowjob and his being a bad husband created 9/11/01. How many people killed? Over 3,000 innocent people killed. And we know ISIS is over there. They're planning. They're looking out. They're watching what we're doing every step of the way. They're on the internet. They're on Facebook. They're on Twitter. They even have people who live here in our own country who are American citizens working for them. And everybody's watching this big investigation. All the lies. All the tweets. Tweeting about Alec Baldwin. Tweeting about Meryl Streep. Tweeting that Comey was a grandstander. Throwing everybody under the bus. Not one word about health care. Not one word about tax breaks. And not one word about getting rid of ISIS. Protecting our country from terror. Right now, all they're doing in Washington is hiring lawyers and hunkering down. and prepping for their testimony before Congress, which is what we were warned by then candidate Trump that would happen if we elected Hillary Clinton. Is Hillary Clinton under indictment for anything? She still could be. No one's investigating Hillary Clinton anymore. Have you noticed? Now, if she had won, the Republicans probably would have pushed to have her investigated because that's what they do. They don't like the Clintons much in Washington. But even his own party is throwing Trump under the bus. Some people are saying, you know what? We need to know what happened. And then we'll figure it out from there. But while they're waiting for this investigation, what they're not doing is working for us, for the American people. And that's very scary. I like history all of a sudden. I'm reading a book right now called Winter. And tomorrow we are going to discuss some things from that book that might sound very familiar to you, even though the chapter I'm going to read from is from 1933. Germany, 1933. So I'll see you back here all tomorrow. Remember, love shows and grows. It's good to be back with you. I'm hoping my cold will get better as the days go on. I am feeling real good just talking with all of you. I missed you, and I hope you missed me. And we're going to try to do a daily show this week. And then next week, my husband is actually on vacation. So next week's shows may be a bit haphazard. I will get a schedule for you, though, by Friday of this week. So I hope you all had a good week last week. It seems like it's going to be pretty rainy down here, so it's a perfect time to get caught up with all of you. And enjoy the show. It's good to be back for our summer season. It's basically our second season, so I'm very excited. And remember one last thing. Some people are bored with history. Oh, it's in the past. Don't live in the past. And yet we see all these dots connecting. You know how here we like to connect dots on the Political Paula show. And the dots from 96 are starting to mesh and connect with 2017. And not in a good way. And once these dots connect and form a full circle, it's not going to be a win for Americans. Not at all. It's going to be big trouble. Scary trouble. So think about this as you listen to the news. And you Trump supporters out there, you know what? I respect you. You voted, which is a good thing. You had your voice heard. But now you got to get into this. You have to understand that this presidency is falling apart. And if we don't fix it soon, all Americans are going to experience something that we hoped we never would again. Another 9/11. And I really pray that that's not true. But we got to get around this, guys. It's very important. You know, the outsiders elected Trump. The people who thought they were downtrodden and being ignored, they elected Trump. Well, guess what? You're still being ignored. You're still unemployed. You're still poor. You still have no health insurance for your families. There still ain't no wall protecting you from the evil, drug-dealing, raping Mexicans. None of that has happened. Everything he's tried to do has been pushed right back. And now all we've got is this, an investigation, a possible impeachment. Because make no mistake, my friends, cheating on your wife is not an impeachment offense. It's not even a crime. But colluding with a foreign adversary, an enemy of our country, to get elected president of this country, or doing little favors and business deals with an enemy nation, and then running for the president of this nation, and then hiring your son-in-law and your daughter to work in the White House with you. Mike Flynn has committed crimes. Bill Clinton did not commit a crime. Mike Flynn and possibly many people in the campaign of the Trump campaign have committed crimes that they can go to jail for. And knowing how hands-on Donald Trump is, for him to try to say now that he had no idea what the people around him were doing When basically I believe Trump is the kind of guy, and this could possibly be a compliment, that he knows if an employee 5 offices away from him is taking a shit. He knows what his people are doing. So for him to try to say he knew nothing about this, well, we'll see what happens. That's probably what he's going to do. Let's see if I'm right. But it's a scary time for me because I know what can happen when we get distracted by scandals in the White House, by stuff that we shouldn't be worried about. And we stop worrying about the stuff we need to worry about, the stuff that puts all of us in danger. And I want to send a huge congratulations to Cloud Computing, the horse that won the Preakness. Guess what? I didn't bet, but I picked him. I finally picked a winning horse in a major horse race. Nobody was happier than I was on Saturday night. So for today, stay well, my friends. Stay informed. Love shows and grows. But right now, we all need to be using our brains. Use your little gray cells, as Poirot would say. Little gray cells. Not your heart, your brain. And start fighting to get our country back. We can still save it. We can still pull ourselves back from the abyss. But we have to do it together. No Democrats, no Republicans, no us against them. Together as American citizens. So God bless you all, and as always, God bless the United States of America and all of our citizens and our troops all over the world who fight and work for us, and they want America to be great. It's they who we should be thanking and making sure we're protecting them. Political Paula, out.